Hello again, folks. It's me, Joseph. Sometimes I wish I could tell you it was somebody else, but such is how it goes. We're listening to Alex deGrasse, to specifically the Altiplano recording. My God, if you've not heard it, go hear it. It's breathtaking, my opinion. And in my little world, that's all that really matters. Today's subject, aside from my ego, today's subject is, he's reading, edit someone else's work to improve your own. And that is a very significant thing to me. As I've mentioned many times, I'm sure I'm in critique groups. Some are good critique groups, some are not good critique groups. The less advantageous critique groups, I quickly leave. The good critique groups, I beg to have them stick around, and they rarely do, because really good high-level critiquing is taxing, it's tiring, requires a lot of effort. That noted, when I say edit someone else's work, number one, I mean really edit, go deep. And this is where we get into the real craft issues, character revelation, plot points, all that kind of stuff, voice, tone, word choice. Leave it the same story, but make it a better story. Now we come to the good stuff. Beyond craft, on the other side of craft, beyond active voice, direct address, all that kind of good stuff. One of the things that I find so useful in critiquing somebody else's work and really plug into my own is that is in the story at this point because I finished writing Jerry and Betty. I may have mentioned that. And I realized the last days I was writing it that I was really writing the major scenes to a novel, not a short story. I really wanted it to be a short story, but it's going to be a novel. One of the ways that really came home to me was I woke up writing all the character backstories, which if you've read my work, and why haven't you? One of the things I do in the beginnings of all of my novels is I give you a lot of character backstory, so you'll know what their motivations are and what drives them and why they're interested in doing whatever it is they have to do in the story. Okay. You wrote that there because, so once you get beyond that, you come to a passage, you're reading somebody else's work, and there's something in there which may be well written, but doesn't make sense in the story. You have to really ask the author, and hence ask yourself about your own writing. What's that doing there? Having finished Jerry and Betty, I then picked up Recovery Triptych, and with this newfound great wisdom, which I've had for a long time, I just really began hammering it at me. What's that doing there? What's that doing there? What's that doing there? And I was able to trim it down considerably. I got all the bile out of it that was just the rage coming out when I originally wrote it, and left it as, I hope, a much better story. I think so anyway. Readers will let me know. Then from there, I picked up Meteor Man, which I think is a hell of a story. I still do. And what's that doing there? What's that doing there? Even when I know what the thing is doing there, can I really justify it? And this comes down to, is what you've written valuable where you've written it? Does it make sense in the story where you've written it? I'm sure I've said that before too. So now we're going into that's there because this chunk, this stuff, which may be wonderful writing, and if it's really good writing, it's really painful to get rid of it. I know it's that kill your darling stuff, which that, just how do you write well? You just open up a vein and drip blood on a page, right? Or the keyboard. Something may be really good, doesn't belong. Use it somewhere else. Maybe it belongs somewhere else in the story. Another thing I said before. Your story, my stories, what I need for my stories is to go the progression, the plot progression, and the timeline. They all have to make sense. And the through line, they all have to make sense. They have to be able to work together, interweave. So the reader begins here and ends there. And when they get there, they go, yeah, that was good. I got there. I followed. I moved on. Excuse me. The minute a reader goes, huh? They've backed out of the story. If a reader questions what's something doing in a story, or worse, if they skim what's in a story, you've lost them. You may have only lost them for a few seconds, but you have lost them. And if you lose them enough, they may put the book down, the story down, and not go back to it. They may never purchase from you again or your work again. Ouch. But that's what happens. Because, in my opinion, and this is what happens when I edit somebody else's work, because it really brings it home to me. Did I do this? I'm telling this person to get rid of the trash. I'm telling this person that doesn't fit. It doesn't belong there. Is that true about what I'm writing? Can I see that in my own work? And that's where I've mentioned before, read your work with editor's eyes. It's very important to develop that sense, that inner sense, that harsh, critical inner voice, which wants to validate everything that's in the story. Don't let it slide. Don't fluff over it. The minute you're editing your own work and you let something slide, stop. Just stop. It can be painful to stop, but stop. Go do something else. Watch TV, watch a movie, read a book, read somebody else's book, play some music, whatever. Alex Degrassi. But if you are editing your own work and all of a sudden you begin to skim or slide or you're looking for the next piece, that's an indication whatever you just read should not be in the story or needs to be fixed or needs to be moved. So, is what you've written meaningful, important, valuable where you've written it? How do I teach myself to do that with my own work? I edit somebody else's story. I edit for the craft issues, yes. I look at the voice, I look at the tone, I look at the atmosphere, I look at the language, I look at the dialogue. Does it make sense? Do I know who's on stage? Do I know who owns the paragraph, the section, the chapter? Do I understand what's happening? Does A and B and C, do they all fall in a straight line? Can I follow the story along? Great. More importantly, can I justify each thing in the story? I've heard from a lot of readers that they cannot skip anything in my stories. I've heard from many, many readers that they just know every word is important and intentionally in the story. And that's true. I do. I really work hard to make sure every word counts and keeps the story moving forward, drives it to the finale, to the conclusion, to the climax. How do I do that? Is that important? Is that valuable? What is that doing there? Can I justify its existence in the story? Can I justify its existence there in the story? Improve your craft, improve your work by editing someone else's story so you can learn how to edit your own. I'm going to look for the little off button now. I'm going to work hard not to look at looking for the off button. Let's see how good Joseph's peripheral vision is. It sucks. Here we go.